Right, you walk through the door of Kansas City Chiefs, the champions, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes.
That was kind of the life I was in.
Yeah.
And I was just rolling with it. You see all this like stuff in the media, how big they are, but they are the most humble people that I've ever met. The biggest shock for me when I actually played a game was how fast it was. They're agile, they're strong. When I say it was like going into a different world over there, like it genuinely was.
You got a handwritten note from Taylor Swift, Trav on the sofa, just saying, oh, we got this new kid from Wales.
Louis Rees-Zammit.
Louis Rees-Zammit, that's the one. Also known as Lewis. Yeah.
Until I kind of show it on the field, I'm a nobody at the end of the day, like compared to these Americans. This is my dream and I'm chasing it, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Right, so I'm with Louis Rees-Zammit, also known as Louis Rees-Zammit. Which one do you prefer?
I knew that question was coming.
Early. I want to get it right from the start.
I know. I mean, Lewis is what I've always been called by my parents, but I mean, I respond to anything, so.
Yeah, the Americans are calling you Louis.
Yeah.
With all the clips that I've seen.
But then towards like last year, I was getting called Rees, so, and then I also get called Zammit.
Yeah.
So I respond to any of them.
Either way, it's cool. We were just chatting before the cameras turned on. I said, I'm going to save it for this. It looks like you are living the dream and loving it. I know there's still a long way to go to actually get out there and be playing competitive NFL games. But how's it been so far? Are you loving it?
No, I'm loving it 100%. Since the start in January when I joined the International Player Program, it was my dream to make this happen. So being able to just, join the Chiefs, have a good training camp with them, play my first 3 NFL games, that was a dream come true. And then, unfortunately, I got released by them and then joined Jacksonville. So I'm also playing a different position, which I'm absolutely loving. I was playing running back at Chiefs and now I'm playing wide receiver at the Jags. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I know your story, but for the people that don't, maybe just tell people how a rugby player from Wales who's playing for Gloucester goes from being a rugby player doing that to go into the biggest sport in the world. Just give us a quick summary of that.
Yeah, I'll try to give you a quick one. I mean, it was all about timing. I was coming to the end of my contract with Gloucester this year, and I thought, if I leave it any longer, I'll probably be a bit too old to, pick it up for the first time. So, I'm 23 now, and it was it was a now or never kind of thing. In January, I spoke to Gloucester, and the international player pathway starts in January, and obviously the season ends in June for rugby. So I kind of had to talk to Gloucester and tell them that this was my dream, and if I could get out of my contract early, and credit to them, they allowed me to do that. And I joined the international player pathway. 3 months there, trained in Bradenton, in Florida. Did a pro day towards the end of March, and then I had teams calling me and offering me contracts. So, that was, that was a whirlwind of a 3 months for me.
Yeah.
I never did I think I'd be able to get into the NFL, never mind have offers from multiple teams. So I obviously joined the Chiefs in April, did OTAs and training camp with them, played 3 games, which was unbelievable for me. And then here I am with the Jags.
What's been the biggest surprise, shock when you went in? Where you were like, holy, this is crazy?
I'd say at the start, it was definitely the playbook. Being able to learn 500 plays.
Which you knew was coming anyway, because you've spoken about the playbook.
Exactly,
before.
I knew it was coming, but it's a lot harder when you actually get into it. And I've really enjoyed learning it. And because this is my dream, I'm actually enjoying learning playbooks. And I'd say that was definitely the hardest thing to pick up at the start. But you kind of get a feel for it. Obviously being on 2 teams now, I'm having to learn 2 playbooks.
What does it look like? It's a thick book, obviously, and what is it, drawn out? Is it writing?
Drawn out plays, genuinely 500 plays, or it could be 1,000 plays. You go into a game with about 200 that you've got to know, and obviously, as you know in rugby, we didn't have to know that many. So Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing I had to adapt to at the very start. Going from playing running back at the Chiefs to playing wide receiver is very different. Not just the playbook, that you have to learn a lot more, but, you know, running routes, being able to stop, start, you know, accelerate, decelerate, like that. Like, it is tough. And I think this is definitely the best position for me, wide receiver. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't say that was the biggest shock. I think the biggest shock for me when I actually played a game was how fast it was. Like, those players come at you quick, especially playing running back, and you're in that pocket, and you're trying to find a gap in front of, you know, 8 people, 10 people, all in front of you. Like, it's very tough.
And they're massive as well.
And they're massive, and they're quick, they're agile, they're strong. Like, I didn't realize, like, when you train to play in a game is like 2 different things. Playing a game, it was so quick. Like, that first game, like, I didn't have a very good game because I mean, it was my first ever game of American football, but like, you have to pick up how quick the game is, very like quick, because
As in what, moving in front of you?
Yeah,
Not necessarily when you've got the ball in hand, just everything. It's
the
chaos.
speed. It's just chaos. The speed, the timing of, like, your quarterback, your offensive line, being able, like, when you see a hole, you have to hit it now. You can't wait. If you wait a split second, that hole will disappear. And, like, that was probably the biggest thing I had to adapt to when I was in game. But now, playing a different position, whenever I do get my opportunity, then it's going to be very different, because I won't really have to be around that pocket, and I'll be able to run routes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd probably say that's probably the thing I had to adapt to most.
Right, you walk through the door of Kansas City Chiefs, the champions, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. What's that like? I know you've signed on the dotted line. Just talk us through that moment when you first walk in and see these icons of the NFL.
Yeah, it was pretty special. It was a good feeling. I mean, when I signed, I went home for 10 days and got to see some friends before I actually flew back out to Kansas City. I had a message from both Travis and Patrick. On Instagram, you know, welcoming me to the team. And then basically they did a little, like, mini camp in Dallas where Pat threw to the receivers. And at that time, I didn't know what position I was going to be, so I was running routes and stuff like that. And you know, that's kind of when I first linked up with them. And I mean, they're just normal people. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're so humble. Like, you would never think. You see all this, like, stuff in the media, how big they are, but they are the most humble people that I've ever met. So it was pretty crazy the first time I seen them in person. But then, like, they're your teammates.
Yeah.
So, like, I got used to it pretty quick, and we built connections, and we did like, kind of stuff off the field. That's what the Chiefs are very good at. You know, they're bonding off the field, and it
Like
shows.
what kind of stuff?
Just like going for dinners, like going to events. Obviously, Pat has, like, a soccer team there. His wife also has the women's soccer team there. So, like, just going there with them, watching the game, just chilling out, talking. It's just stuff like that, and it's
Normal stuff.
it is normal stuff, and it just helps you bond, really. And you can see, you know, on the field, that connection between Pat and Trav. Like, whenever Pat's in trouble, he throws it to Trav and he makes a catch. So you can really see it on the field, and you definitely see it off the field as well.
I'm going to start calling Pat and Trav now, just for this. Credit card roulette or not? Were you worried when you went out for dinner?
Yeah, I definitely want sticking my card in there.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. The differences, I suppose, in America, and I know you're into other sports the same as me and football, but American sports specifically, the banter.
Yeah.
I hate using that word, but from where we're from in rugby, it's probably the only word that I know or I can ask in that light. What's the banter like in the changing rooms with these guys? Is it different?
The locker room.
The locker room.
I mean, we probably got a bit more dry sense of humour than Americans, but, like, it's the same. Everyone takes the mick out of each other. That's actually quite funny. That's Taylor Swift.
Oh, that is Taylor Swift, yeah. It is. What's she like?
I didn't get to meet her.
You went to a concert, though.
I went to a
you?
concert,
And the Kelce brothers shared it on their Instagram.
yeah,
Saw it.
and I got
Following.
a handwritten note from her.
What?
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's pretty crazy.
You got a handwritten note from Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Saying what?
This was before training camp, so it was just like, you know, good luck for the season, good luck for training camp. Heard you're doing well, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Heard you're doing well. So Trav on the sofa, just saying, "Oh, we got this new kid
Yeah.
from Wales." It's rugby union, not league, by the way, Jason. I know he's calling it league. And where's the letter? Have you got it on you or not?
Yeah, so, no, it's at home. It's in Cardiff. I didn't bring it out to I didn't bring it out to America with me, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. You know, getting a letter from Taylor Swift, but that was kind of the life I was in.
Yeah.
And I was just rolling with it, you know.
But like with Taylor Swift, and you see the glitz and the glamour, like the walk-ins, like everything, the build-up, that's the sell of the sport.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of it, with all due respect. And we can get on to just how good the athletes are as well. But that glitz and glamour, which I know you're into, and there's fine. In rugby, where there's been a bit of a pushback before about being individuals and about that kind of celebrity chaos on the side. We saw that with Sips, right? We saw the issues that he had and Gavin Henson in our game. There was a lot of pushback, but there they embrace it.
They embrace it, and that's kind of why they are who they are. In rugby, I mean, if you if you wear a certain thing or you post something, you get slammed that you say, "Why are you doing this? You should be concentrating on rugby." Whereas in America, they like embrace it themselves. You see it with pretty much every athlete in America. They're all doing commercials. They're all doing events, fashion shoots, all of that kind of stuff. Because I mean, the biggest thing is performing on the field, and if you perform on the field, you're going to get these deals. And no one cares about if someone's in a commercial and playing well. So, I mean, it's just a whole different world in America, and how big the off-field stuff is. I mean, obviously the game itself, American football is absolutely massive there, and you know, I kind of went into that world and I was just kind of riding the wave. Like when I was in rugby and I was getting deals and stuff like that, people would say, concentrate on rugby. So, you know, being able to do that and embrace the off-field stuff has been amazing.
One thing that was always spoken about when I was younger was around the comparison. Rugby's basically NFL without the pads, and how good our athletes are.
Yeah.
What are they like as athletes, and what is the comparison?
I mean, they are freaks. Like, their athleticism is crazy. The only thing I would say is, like, all their work is within 3 to 4 seconds, whereas obviously in rugby you've got to go a full 80 minutes. So that would be the only thing that I'd be like, would they be able to just turn up to a rugby game and play it? No, because they wouldn't have the cardio, they wouldn't have the fitness, and maybe they'd lose that agility if they had to do all of that stuff. I don't know, but for the majority of like people, I think they are probably a level ahead of rugby players. But there's definitely rugby players that I think that could make it in the NFL. I mean, I know one person that's going to try soon.
High profile?
Yeah. So that would be good to see.
Can you share or not? Yes, that's right.
You're Louis Rees-Zammit.
Louis Rees-Zammit, that's the one. Also known as Louis. Yeah. Wherever you are, he's American. He's been watching you on America. He doesn't know you as Louis, does he?
Louis.
It's Louis. He's seen you playing. That's cool. Can you share who?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to ruin things for him.
Yeah, no, what's his country?
He's Australian.
He's Australian.
Yeah.
Oh, playing in Australia.
Yeah. He plays in Australia. He plays for Australia. And he's a good athlete. He's young.
Still playing union?
Yeah. Still playing union. He's a centre. I mean, I'm pretty sure he came out the other day and said that he wants to go for it.
Oh, I can say it then. Jordan Bataille.
I mean, I don't want to ruin things for him. So.
I think it was out. I think it's already out there.
I think he said he wanted to go out and I mean, he's another athlete that is a bit of a freak athlete. Yeah. So.
What's if you had to pick one attribute, the number one attribute that you need? So you had speed, power, you're tall, you're athletic. But if there's one attribute that you can have, what would it be?
Speed.
It's speed.
Yeah.
No substitute for speed.
No, nothing. Especially playing receiver. I mean, there's definitely slower people that can read a defense really well. They can release really well off the line. They can create separation. But I think speed is the number one attribute for. As you said, you can't substitute speed. So that would be my number one. And thankfully, I've got a bit of speed.
And how does the processes work of not being kept on? I know you're really excited. I think it was a 3-year contract initially with Kansas. how does the process work of you not being kept on and then being moved straight to a club? I've seen some of the NFL shows, like I know you would have watched before on Netflix and stuff, where they've got a whole team like that move people in and out of different states and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's quite daunting, that, right?
Yeah, it was. And the thing with American football compared to pretty much any sport is when you sign that contract, you have guaranteed money in that contract. And if you don't have guaranteed money, they can cut you at any point. So, and that's what happened to me. I mean, I went through training camp, and then there's a day that everyone's in the building and they basically just start cutting players because they have to make a 53-man squad.
Out of how many?
Out of 90 something go to training camp and play in the 3 preseason games, and then they cut it down to 53. But even if you're on the practice squad, you get cut, and then they bring you back because they basically have to downsize that 90 odd people to 53, and then they can add 17 players to the practice squad. So when you get cut, there's like a waiver system, so any team can pick you up and put you on their active roster, and then if you clear waivers, so you don't get picked up, then they can sign you to a practice squad, etc. And that's what happened to me. And then I also changed positions, so I went from running back to receiver, and the Jags allowed me to play receiver, so that was, kind of the main reason why I wanted to go there.
Yeah, and then when you're in the building, is it one of them where you come into the coach's office, how's the family, how are you settling in, or is it as cutthroat as it seems from the outside?
Yeah, it's just cutthroat.
Give us an idea of how that goes down, that conversation. Is it Andy Reid who told you?
No, it's
management?
Like they got so many, they got like a whole group of player personnel, they got a whole group of scouts. They've got so many people for so many different positions that you get like a text message. It's honestly, it's brutal. You're all in the building one day and you get a text message to basically say, can you bring your iPad and meet me in a certain room? And that's when you know. If you don't get the message, you're in the team. If you do, like I did, I got the message. Like I went upstairs, spoke to some player personnel, and then had some positive chats with them. But at the end of the day, I wanted to play receiver, so they've got a very strong receiving group in Kansas City. So, and then the Jags allowed me to be on their practice squad, which is amazing.
It's a really interesting process, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because as cutthroat as it seems, it clearly is. Because didn't Andy speak to you when you were about to sign, or someone from the top table reached out and did they speak to you after and just said, look, it's not worked out this time?
No.
Got a wry smile? No, nothing?
No, I mean, I got calls from Andy Reid and the general manager, Brett Veach, asking me to join the Chiefs. And I had that from 10 other teams as well. Yeah, I didn't hear anything after I got cut, but that's just the business it is. I knew how cutthroat it was. And then obviously experiencing how cutthroat it is, you just get on with it. I mean, I'm not going to beg them to stay. It's on to the next job, and I'm as happy as ever at the Jags. So,
do they ask you about rugby? Is there any interest?
Yeah.
From the players or media out there? And if so, what are they saying?
It definitely was at the start. When I first joined the Chiefs, and everyone saw this rugby player coming over to play American football, everyone was intrigued and wondered what rugby was like. I get the question all the time, what sport is more physical? Do you get hit harder in rugby or American football? So they're definitely interested in it. And I know they're trying to grow rugby out in America, especially how they got the World Cup there as well.
Yeah, is this a good thing for you? Louis Rees-Zammit, the rugby man, the rugby player, every time that's what it is. Is that a good thing or not? Or would you rather the shackles be off a little bit more and they see you for Louis Rees-Zammit, the athlete who's coming through the player pathway program? Or would you like the rugby element?
To be honest with you, I don't really care. I'm there to try and make it in the NFL, and they can say if I'm a rugby player, they can say if I'm a great athlete or whatever, but until I kind of show it on the field, I'm a nobody at the end of the day, compared to these Americans. I need to show my athleticism. I need to show I can do it, because I'm kind of going back to the start in a whole sport that I've never played before. So it's kind of like living my rugby life again, my journey. I'm just building a completely new journey, and it's time to, kind of show people what I can do over there, because obviously they didn't know what I could do in rugby. So
How hard has it been?
yeah, it's been very hard. It's been very challenging.
Harder than you thought?
No, I knew this was. I knew it was going to be
Okay.
very tough. It was harder for me because I kind of got the playbook figured out in Kansas City, and then I obviously got released and then have to learn a whole new playbook. That was probably the most challenging thing for me, because I was feeling like really confident. I didn't have to think. I didn't have to think when I was playing. I could just play freely and fast. Towards the end, I got released and I'm onto a new team, and I'll restart it all over again. Like, this is my dream and I'm chasing it, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah. And with all the noise outside, the stuff on social media, people's opinions,
Yeah.
it does matter. I know people say it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of good. You were backed by a lot of high-profile rugby people and coaches.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there was a load of shit online
No, there
saying
was.
what you're doing. What was that, and how have you dealt with that?
I mean, yeah, there was a lot more shit than there was positivity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
From what,
That's
just
out of
that,
my
as in
control.
DMs, or just
Yeah,
just
no, yeah.
overall kind of view or
a
opinion?
load of DMs, my number getting leaked, people messaging me, FaceTiming me, stuff like that. But like, I'm just trying to chase my dream. People can say what they want, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is my dream to be in the NFL, to make this happen, and I'm chasing it. Like, I'm not thinking about what other people are thinking of me. Like, I know I have the ability to do this, so it's just about actually doing it. And the more you listen to the hate, the more it can get in your head. So I kind of leave it to one side and just focus on what I can control.
Yeah. What about the positive stuff? What good
Yeah.
stuff have you had?
Yeah, I had I mean, it wasn't all shit. Like, I had a load of good stuff, from my teammates in Kansas City to family to friends, to rugby teammates, just encouraging stuff. Like, I know what I've got to do this, but it's nice to hear that, your family got your back, your friends have got your back, players that have actually seen you in training at the Chiefs know I can do it. Like, that's all the stuff that I listen to. All the other stuff it doesn't matter, because, yeah, as I said, people are annoyed that I left rugby and I'm not on an active roster or whatever, but this is my dream and I'm chasing it.
So with the cool DMs that came in, I want you to name drop a little bit here, if you may. But Pat and Trevor messaged you. Any other cool ones come through? Out of the woodwork where you're like, wowzers, he or she's messaged me, that's cool. Come on.
To be honest with you, I can't really remember. Like, I had a load of followers. Like, when I joined the Chiefs, I had like over 250,000 followers within like a few days, which is pretty crazy. And I had loads of footballers. My favorite one was Kobe Maino followed me back, and I mean, I'm a massive Man United fan,
Yeah.
as you know, so him, Declan Rice followed me.
Cool, isn't it? Because
It is.
because
It
it
is cool.
shows the interest in a sport like the NFL. And
Yeah.
I know there's a little bit away. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself and stuff like that, but this is part of it, right? The interest from other sports
Yeah.
kind of gives the NFL and gives the sport that you're in that kind of affirmation. Not that anyone needs, but it almost like certifies that this is fucking big time now.
Yeah, and like, when I say it was like going into a different world over there, like, it genuinely was. Like, all I did was sign with a team and I had all these followers and all this media and stuff like that, and I hadn't even played the sport. So it just goes to show how big it is out there, and how people here love the sport. Like, obviously it's growing here. You've got the London Games, started last week. We got one more game here. Like, it's a growing sport here as well, and everyone's looking out for it. I mean, even like the soccer players, they have a massive interest for it. I know Harry Kane's a massive fan of the NFL.
What are the lads saying, the team? I know they enjoyed the night festivities after the match, but the whole kind of the general move to pull games over here, and
Yeah.
there's talk of Germany as well.
Yeah, I mean, the boys like it. They like coming over here, and we spend 10 days here and then we're back. So it's nice to get like a little break of just going to home and away games, like coming out here and playing in front of completely different fans. And the Jags have got really good fans over in the UK. So the boys absolutely love it, and they can also experience. Some boys have never flown out of America, so they get to come over here. They get to see London. They get to play in front of these fans. They get to play in different stadiums. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, the NFL UK and Ireland page is growing the social media and stuff on that, but they seem like they've been really good to you. It seems like a really kind of cool part of the NFL, like a branch, if you like, the UK and Ireland team and the Pathway program. It seems like they've got a really cool setup there.
Yeah, and I mean, they're trying to grow the sport over here as well. So I think the more the players enjoy playing over here, the more it's going to happen, and the more games we're going to be able to get over here. So, you know, my teammates absolutely love coming over here, and we do it every year. So, because not every team gets to come over here. Like, we're very lucky in Jacksonville that we get to come over here every year, play 1 or 2 games in front of, as I said, different fans, and players get to experience London. Well, the UK really. Some players on days off, they can get on a train to Paris. They can do anything. So, I mean, I know loads of boys are absolutely loving it.
Yeah. And for you personally, then, just to finish on, a load of people ask me, "Oh, Louis Rees-Zammit, how far away is he from the NFL? Like, he's in the practice squad, or he got cut from Kansas." Maybe you can answer that question. How far away do you feel that you are, and realistically, how do you take that next step, which is the biggest step, I imagine?
Yeah, I mean, having changing positions now to receiver, I'm kind of looking at this year as a learning year. You know, learning the game, being involved with a team for the first time, going to matches. I'm kind of taking this year as I'm going to try and do as much as I can to get on the field, and if an opportunity arises, then I'm going to try and take it with both hands. So, like, it could happen on game day. It's a bit like being a travelling reserve for rugby. Like, if someone goes down in the warm-up.
Oh, really? So it is that close then? So the answer to the question is that you're there or thereabouts. Like, it could be
happen. One injury away. Like, obviously we never want that to happen, but it could be, if an injury happens, you can get called up.
So you need to know everything that's happening. So it isn't like you're in the practice squad and therefore in a couple of weeks, or if there's an injury, you might get drafted in the next week. You need to know what's going on.
Everyone needs to be ready to play that week. So, like, we'll know we have a game plan going into that week, and everyone needs to know that game plan. Not just the team, not just the players that are playing, but even the practice squad need to know that, because we've actually had in the 6 games we've played, we've had 5 elevations from the practice squad. So 5 boys have actually played on the match day. So, like, it genuinely is like, if one player gets injured, you could get called up. But yeah, I'm kind of taking this year as I'm going to try and learn as much as I can, and if an opportunity arises, then I'm going to try and take it.
Yeah. What about rugby? Ever come back one day? You hope not?
I mean,
I hope not. I hope that we see this all the way through for you, and you don't come back, but we miss you.
Yeah, I mean, I do miss rugby, and I miss, you know, I watch Gloucester every weekend. So, I mean, I'd never say never, but obviously this is my dream, to play in the NFL. So I'm going to try and do anything I can to make this happen. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, then I'll try rugby again. But, you know, my mindset is this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career. Yeah.
Well, Zam, hopefully. Well, I feel it. Anyone who's asked me, I've said he's going all the way.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to watch it. It looks really cool, mate, the fact that you're in that space. You've taken to everything around it like a duck to water, because it's not easy. Like, even doing this stuff here. There's a game at the weekend, do you know what I mean? And all the media stuff, but that's part of the world that you're in now.
I know.
Eh? The glitz and the glamour, building the brand, as well as trying to walk the walk, as they say.
Yeah.
But it's been class to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Nice one.